guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today in the Ask SSM video series, got an email from a subscriber. This guy sounds like he's in his late 40s and he's dealing with a family situation. Nothing like family situations to make your blood boil. Long story short, this guy writes in asking for advice on how to handle things with his crazy, nutcase, a-hole sister who's made trouble for him his whole life, as well as a situation brewing with his father. His father's now in his 70s, going senile, and the sister's obviously trying to take advantage of him financially, and he's looking for help how to handle a situation. And I'll be very good one to go over here, guys, for you. One, when it comes to family, nothing can cause more turmoil and drama and stress in your life than certain family members, which sadly I'm sure a lot of you guys have dealt with. And it's important to cover. I'm covering that to show you how best to handle it. Crazy family members. You can't tolerate their crap. And sometimes, if extremely gets bad, cut them out of your life. And of course, dealing with a parent that's getting older, forgetful, and how to handle that situation, because it can be a mess. They can get taken advantage of financially, all sorts of things like that. And so I'm looking for guys today, especially for comments, guys that have experience dealing with elderly family members, handling them. Maybe some of you guys ever had to get power of attorney of your mom or your dad with their estate, things like that, to both to protect them or just to make things easier. I could really use your feedback, as well as any attorneys out there, that we can help this guy out. So it starts off, says here, do SSM. I'm a OG listener, and this is my first time writing in. I appreciate your work, and you made a genius move when you moved to the free state of Florida. You ain't getting there, bro. I love it down here. We are about the same age and would have been in high school together for reference, but I do have a few years on you. Say you're a couple years older than me. I seek advice on a deeply troubling family matter that has persisted for nearly 4 decades. My sister, who exhibits a strong narcissistic traits, has been a tyrant in my life, consistently doing everything in her power to take from me and drive a wedge between me and my parents. All right, then and there, wonderful sister. Well, you know what? A lot of times when you have someone like that, usually other family members enable their behavior. Over the years, she has fabricated lies and slander, and her actions have even led me to being attacked and arrested. Then why do you have anything to do with her? I get when you're growing up, you're all stuck in the same house, but after that, I have nothing to do with her. Unfortunately, my parents, particularly my father, has always enabled her behavior. Well, smack to your dad and your mom. Enabled her behavior. My little princess. Well, your little princess is a little fucking tyrant. My mother, who is also a narcissist, supports her in these actions. My father has continually ignored their transgressions against me and has demanded that I get along with my sister. Demanded? You're a grown-ass fucking man. The second you're out of that house and you're paying your own bills, they can't demand jack shit from you. Okay? Of course, I'm a firm believer of being respectful to your parents. You know, the old Bible, honor your father and mother. But that doesn't mean that if they're allowing crap to go on in your life, you got to put up with that crap. You can honor them and have boundaries. No. My sister and I, if there were problems, if my sister behaved in a way that you're going to describe your sister, do you think I have anything to do with her? No. If my parents even try to tell me, I'd be like, Mom and Dad, I love you, but you're not going to tell, I'm no longer in the house growing up anymore. I'm a grown-ass adult. No. She's a train wreck. You may have the blinders on, but I'm not having anything to do with her. And you got a problem with that? Well, you're not going to see me at Christmas or whatever. Got to stand up for yourself, guys. Here are a few examples that give a little context of what she's done without remorse or accountability. This is just a taste. I could write a ton more of this crazy beat. Perhaps the earliest example of this dynamic happened when I was 12 years old. I was making some food in the kitchen when my sister and a few of her friends came in. She sucker kicked me in the nuts and stood over me while they all laughed. Ouch. At that point then, I would, if you're on the ground, then I would sucker kick her in the knee or the ankle. That'll knock her down. From my knees, I threw a punch at her, barely hitting her, and she dramatically flew back and fainted, being unconscious. I got screamed at and whacked for my troubles. Yeah, and her friends probably said that she didn't do anything. This was just one of the many incidents where she instigated conflict and I was punished. Yep, I'd have nothing to do with her. At high school, her boyfriend, his friends jumped me. I thought they were playing wrestling at first, since they were like middling flies, until they started throwing fists. I summarily beat the snot out of them, but this rivalry persisted into adulthood, with the same guy sicking his dog on me, which went about as well for the dog as it did for his master a decade earlier. I also had a friend with me at the time, a Puerto Rican badass who made the kid regret it while I handled the pit bull. In my late teens, after finally escaping my parents' house and carving out some semblance of independence, my sister found another way to disrupt my life. One day she came by asking for money. I gave her $20 in cash, handed her 2 bags of paper trash in my office, and asked her to throw them out at my job just down the road, a simple task. Smack! Why would you trust your sister to do anything? Why would you even have anything to do with her? At this point, you're out of the house. And you're going to pay her money to dispose of something which could cause you problems? However, instead of properly disposing the trash, she dumped it on the side of the road about 100 feet from my house. This is illegal dumping. It was reported, leading to me being charged with a misdemeanor. At that point, then, you brought that on yourself. You can't trust her. Come on. As a result, I had to spend the entire summer doing community service for the highway department. Despite her clear responsibility in the matter, she faced no consequences. To add insult to injury, she told everyone she could that I had gotten into trouble and had to do community service, further attempting to tarnish my reputation. Her refusal to drive the additional mile to complete a simple favor epitomized her disregard for me and her malicious intent. Well, she's an absolute a-hole. She's obviously a wacko, and is always obviously jealous of you and all that, but regardless, why do you have anything to do with her? A more contemporary example of how she rules my parents' lies came about 5 years ago. My wife and I wanted to start a family, and of course, we wound up with twins. That's a handful. My father, wanting to help me as always, gave me a credit card so we could move to a bigger house and get some much-needed baby stuff. We racked up $7,000 on it from the move, which was to be expected. My sister discovered this, and suddenly it became a major issue for my father. He demanded I pay him back despite not having any financial charge and not just maintaining the debt. So your dad gave you a credit card to go help you get started with his twin grandsons and all that, and that's a lot to handle. And then she has a tantrum and he says, "Give me the money back." Well, your dad's an asshole too. And this is why, where we get to the end of the story, I'm not going to feel so bad for your dad. Your dad has been enabling her behavior, taking her side. You've been the short end of the stick since you were a child. After a year, the payments went up, and he said the card had over $10,000. Interest, that type of thing. I told him I had not had access since he flipped out. I have not access to it since he flipped out and demanded it be paid off. He'd given the card to my sister, who racked up $3,000 on it herself. I had already paid most of the balance off, so I had also paid for her. I don't know if he even realized that he did this, but I told her to pay me back, and we agreed the payment plan that she never made one payment on. You're an idiot for paying the money that she racked up on it, and you're an idiot to believe she'd pay you back. Bro, we're having some serious, like, Charlie Brown, Lucy with the fucking football thing here, if you all know what I'm talking about here. When I brought up again, I was gaslit and told, what credit card? First time, shame on them. Second time, shame on you. But more like 19 times, shame on you. The final straw came during my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. My aunt, Dad's older sister, basically the only other family I have left, who wanted to celebrate this major milestone, suggested throwing a big party. Enthusiastic about the idea, my aunt, sister, and I brainstormed. However, my sis denied our plans, claiming she had no time or money to contribute. Then she stopped communicating with us entirely. To our surprise, she told our parents about the party plan and arranged a party for herself, inviting only her friends and our parents' neighbors. Real nice, huh? And you thought working with her would work? Come again, Lucy with the football. She managed to manipulate the situation so well that she painted my aunt as the villain, while simultaneously asserting to me that it was her idea and suggesting I could chip in for some expenses if I wanted. Yeah, pound sand, bitch. Feeling alienated, I almost decided not to attend the party. However, my family and I went, only to be treated like outcasts. First time, shame on them. 25th time, shame on you. My father gushed about my brother-in-law, who supposedly dropped $500 for food when I was prepared to spend a few grand on a beach house to do things properly. Watching my sister and mother together, their manipulations became completely transparent. So your mom's an asshole, and so is your sister. My sister had effectively cut me out from any meaningful participation in our parents' 50th anniversary, except for getting me to cover the food costs, a bill my brother-in-law had apparently already paid for. It was another slap in the face, especially considering he still hadn't repaid the money they charged on the credit card. The hypocrisy was staggering. He could afford party expenses but couldn't pay back what they owed. What credit card? So your sister's married and your brother-in-law's an asshole. I could go on for days if anybody want to hear more. No, dude, we don't want to keep hearing more how you keep letting your sister be in your life and pull bullshit with you. I mean, you said you're married and have kids. Your wife has to probably be really sick and tired of all this bullshit. And I can't believe your wife hasn't, said, don't have anything to do with her. Or also wanted to slap the shit out of your sister-in-law. Come on, man. To have any semblance of a normal life, I have often had to distance myself from her. There's an idea. When I finally freed myself from her toxic influence, I got my grind on in a new place. I achieved a level of success beyond what anyone, including myself, had ever anticipated. Well, look what happens when you keep toxic people out of your life. Good job. Now as we all age, my parents, who are in their 70s, are being manipulated by my sister into believing they are old and decrepit and they need to be placed in a home. My mother pretends to be senile and unstable to support this narrative, while my sister further fuels her plan. My father is straining himself trying to take care of her, and it seems my sister and mother take pleasure in this. Well, given the fact that your father has enabled her behavior for her in your whole life, and has always taken her side, and amongst many other things, I can't say I feel too bad for your dad. Your dad, this is karma. Some people might think I'm an asshole, but, seriously. My father's house is also worth a good chunk of change, and they are pressuring him to sell it and move, thus creating a nest egg my sister can steal from. I'm assuming when you say they mean her and your brother-in-law, her husband. They are relentless in their attempts, continuing presenting the selling the house for his own good. Behind this facade, their real intention is clear: to access the substantial financial gains from the house sale. It devastates me to see my father being manipulated in such a way, especially knowing that my sister's ultimate goal is to take control of his assets. Well, that is her goal, and she's an asshole, but you know what? Your father has enabled her behavior her whole life, and has refused to see her true colors and being manipulated by your mom. So I can't entirely feel bad for your dad here, but you asked for my help, you care about your dad, fair enough. I'm deeply concerned with my father's well-being and want to help him. He has always supported me, except when it would conflict with my sister. What? That seems like plenty enough times, my friend. I'm seeking your guidance and that of the men on how I might be able to assist him and protect him from my sister's manipulative schemes. Trying to get a one-on-one time with him is extremely hard, even to get his ear. Well, that's on purpose. Thank you for your time and assistance. Sincerely, Anonymous. So, before I get into that part with his dad, I'm going to say this. Bro, you should not have anything to do with your sister going forward at all. And I'm sure your wife has probably said this. And I gotta be honest, your wife's probably a saint for dealing with this shit and staying with you all these years and all this fucking family drama. Because I always tell guys, you're getting serious with a girl, go see her family. See what that's like. If it's like this dude's story, run for the hills. If your wife was writing into me years ago, if I was on YouTube, I'd say, don't get involved with this guy and his family because look what you're dealing with. Seriously. So, if your wife's still with you, that says something about her. And my hat is off to your wife for, all this stuff. But God's sakes, you should have cut your sister off years ago. Nothing to do with her, even if it makes mom and dad mad. Tough shit. So guys, you got something awful like this, cut these people out of your life. A cousin, a sister, an uncle, even your parents. Life is too short. Notice he said that once he finally distanced himself from her for a while, his life got much better. Job, home, all other aspects. It's a positive ripple effect. But when you keep toxic people in your life, it wears you down and it keeps you from blooming, if you will. So guys, there's a lesson there. Now on to his question about your dad. Now, to be honest with you, bro, given how your dad has always let her behave towards you and the problems there, I can't say I feel bad for him. Yeah, that sounds like he's getting a taste of his own goddamn medicine. She has been doing all this crap to you, now she's doing it to him. But you asked my opinion, so I'll give you my opinion. I'm going to give you the honest opinion saying that this is not my area of expertise. So I'm going to say, probably if it was me in their situation, not that I'd be in their situation, I would seek, if it was me, this is not advice, this is what I would do, make that clear, I would seek out a lawyer about the whole gaining power of attorney. Is it at all possible? That's what I would inquire about. Explain the situation, blah, blah, blah. But that would obviously take your dad agreeing with it. With regards to the house, again, I would inquire about that. But my question is, who's the house? I'm assuming it's a joint marital asset between your dad and your mom. So even if you got power of attorney, hypothetically, without your mom's agreement to that, it's not going to work. So, but I would consult an attorney and find out what power you have here, because you probably have no power here. And if your sister manipulates him to sell the house and she raids his accounts, I sure hope that if he does sell the house, that he makes sure he pays his taxes on the gains beyond that amount that is obviously in a tax shelter. Because I believe it's $500,000. You sell your place, $500,000. The first $500,000 you're clear, but after that you got to pay taxes on. Make sure there's enough money to pay Uncle Sam, otherwise in deep shit. I hope your sister doesn't raid it and take the money. You know, and I might add, if they go into a home and guess what, they can't pay their bills because your sister pissed it all away or stole from them, they usually go after family. That could be you. Be aware of that. So I'd consult an attorney, and again, if this was me, about the big picture of this whole thing, power of attorney, what happens at getting power of attorney if you can, if they go into a home, how could it affect me if the bills aren't paid. These are all important things. And yes, this will affect your wife. So your wife needs to know about these things. So guys out there, if you're listening to this and you are an attorney, or you've experienced a situation with conflict in a family and a parent is being taken advantage of and gaining power of attorney, things like that, please comment away. Just some suggestions, anything you experience, because this is not my area. I'm just saying go to a professional, a lawyer, find out your options, what can happen there. And if it turns out you can't do anything, then you're powerless, and I have nothing to do with her. But again, your mom, I don't feel bad for her because she's just as bad as your sister. She enabled her behavior. Your dad enabled her behavior. I really can't feel too bad for him. It sounds like he's getting what's coming to him. They create a monster. And you've been a good son all these years. Look what you get. So, you know, you need to start really taking care of you. End of fucking story. You and your wife. In fact, she's still with you with all this shit going on in your life. That says something about her. I tip my hat to your wife. And of course, your twins. I can't remember if you said they're boys or girls. So there you go, guys. Try to cut the drama. No, let me rephrase it. Don't try. Do or do not. There is no try. Do cut toxic people out of your life. And even if it's family. A lot of people like, SSM, I can't do that. My culture won't allow me to cut out family. Well, fuck your culture. Life is short. You only got to live once. So there you go. So guys, you got any experience in this, please comment away. Do me this favor. Help this dude out. And bro, I know I'm being harsh on you, but you need to fucking hear it. I mean, come on here with the sister. It's one thing if you were a kid growing up in the house and you're there, and your parents pay for your food on the table, the roof over your head. But once you're out of there, you're your own man with your own income taking. You don't have to do that crap like you had to get along with her for them. Bullshit. You know, but what's done is done, and hopefully this thing will end well. So keep me posted on how things are going. I really do wish you well. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. I already said that, but again, please do comment. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.